I can say for me, as somebody who, as somebody who's been reporting on anti-imperialism, oftentimes on the ground in countries like Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks has been, as a journalist, has been such a huge asset for me. And I think most journalists can agree with that. Anytime you go to report on anything involving U.S. meddling, U.S. intervention, propaganda for war, the lead up to war. I mean, I'm talking about the whole host of countries. This is the month of March right now, which is an anniversary month for the NATO bombing of Libya, the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003, the uprising in Syria that was very, very quickly hijacked by the U.S. and its regional allies to use it to try to overthrow and collapse the Syrian government. And those wars alone, you can just find a trove of golden information in WikiLeaks cables showing the U.S. involvement in war crimes in all of these places. And just the way the U.S. works with local actors and local operatives in these countries to push its agenda. And so just from a journalistic perspective, Julian Assange has done more for journalism in this century than I think any single other figure. And I don't say that lightly. And I think that, even the outlets that hate him couldn't deny that, because they literally won like Pulitzer Prizes based on what WikiLeaks revealed. So it really is, Julian Assange is a treasure of this century, and WikiLeaks is a treasure of this century. And I mean, even now, years later, after these cables have come out, I still, every time I go to report on a story, one of the first things I do is I go and look up what exists about these particular individuals or this particular country in WikiLeaks cables.
And that's exactly why they needed to shut Julian Assange down and WikiLeaks down, because they didn't want people like you and us to have that information. In terms of when I first became aware of him, it was around the same time as everybody else. The year before Occupy started, and I don't think without Julian Assange and without WikiLeaks, I don't think you would have seen the Arab Spring. I don't think you would have seen Occupy start off, which then the ripples of that led to the Bernie Sanders movement in many ways. And I don't think that many of these things would have taken place without Julian Assange and WikiLeaks revealing so many war crimes. And of course, now we're seeing we live in an inverted moral universe, a world where if you reveal war crimes, you're in prison. If you commit war crimes, you're given awards. If you reveal the endless surveillance of American citizens, you're imprisoned or attacked or called a traitor. If you're involved in the endless surveillance of American citizens, you are honored and you are at the top of the oligarchy. It is a completely upside down, inverted moral universe, and it's revolting to see. And it's why the ruling elite felt they needed to shut WikiLeaks and Julian Assange down, and it's why they continue to pursue him today.
Yeah, I mean, and I echo everything that everybody said, and it's interesting. In the American media, they really like it if people have the memory of a goldfish and don't remember that as the years have gone by, WikiLeaks and Julian Assange have exposed war crimes and have exposed so many other things that were essential for people to know. And I don't have the memory of a goldfish. My short term is not spectacular. I mean, cannabis did a number over the years and continues to.
I feel you.
Get a job at the Biden administration. Sorry, by the way.
I know.
We're out.
I retracted my resume late last night. I was bummed out to hear about it.
I faced a disappointment. Yeah.
Well, most weed smokers, their dream is to work for the administration of a man who put so many of the fellow weed smokers in prison.
Right.
So
Yeah.
The irony of Joe Biden saying other people's brains are fried.
I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, he feels like he can say that, it's like he has the cultural, it's like his, it's like when I say something about Jews, right? Like I can say that.
Right. He has standing. He has standing to mess with the delusional and mentally decrepit.
Right. But also I would say that, if people want Joe Biden to hook them up with a job, they need to not do pot. What they need to pursue is actually like crack cocaine. They need to frequent strip clubs, have, exotic dancers go out and buy sex toys to use on them. And then, be a hunter. Be Hunter
Biden.
Just give you money.
What'd you say, Ron?
And he'll just give you money.
He'll just give you money, or he'll get you a job. He may not hire you, but he'll hook you up with the job. Yeah.
He'll hook you up with a job doing nothing.
It must be nice to have Joe Biden as your father. Like, that's got to be such a cushy.
Yeah. I mean, well, I would say it's probably incredibly traumatic and gives you a lot of issues. But then once that happens, if you're going to have a dad who helps make you really, troubled, he's the best one to have.
But he also helps make you very rich. Like, it's like you born into, if you're born a Biden, like it's like being born into like a sort of mediocre dynasty. Like you get the,
it's
basically,
what I mean?
There's going to be a lot of trust issues in that family, though. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Well, the way I see it, it's like he'll come in and he'll go, I have no empathy. But then you'll be like, well, I don't need any. So that's fine. I'm rich.
Right.
We're good.
Right.
I think I'm of the opinion that money really does buy happiness. And I think the person who came up with the idea that it doesn't was just like a rich person trying to convince like their workers.
No, there's a threshold. There's a threshold.
There is, but it's like $10 million. It's like $10 million.
No, $10 million. No, there's a threshold. I think it's like I want to say it's like 75 or what. It's probably higher now. When you reach that point, above that, there's no exponential happiness from more money. But yes, a basis of not having to stress about your existence in life,
which is
something that causes happiness. Yes, that is definitely. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.